Hi everyone, welcome to Imagine That series here at inkingpink.com. I'm Shantae Fowler and I have a really fun technique to show you using your Imagine. Maybe you have heard of the emboss resist technique that we use in stamping all the time. This is going to be very similar to that. If you haven't heard of that before, then I can't wait to share this with you because this is such a cool technique. This is my first time trying this and it's happening live on camera. So it may work, it may not, but that's what the Imagine That series is all about. It's about discovering. We're going to be using the Country Carnival Imagine art cartridge, and this has some great papers and some really fun images. I'm using glossy cardstock. I'm using a 12 by 12 glossy cardstock. This happens to be by Ranger ink, but you can use whatever glossy. And I'm just going to kind of show you here. Maybe you can catch that on camera, maybe not. There we go. That looks pretty good. Basically what I've done is I have taken a large background stamp. This is the French script background stamp from Stampin' Up. I've inked it up in my favorite embossing ink, which I use Versamark. Once I had it all nice and inked up, I spread clear embossing powder over that and hit it with my heat gun. So it's nice and dry, and we're going to give this a shot and see what happens, see if this emboss technique works. So we're going to, let me zoom in here so you can see what I'm doing. There you go. I'm going to hit print and cut button. My little hourglass there tells me that it's working. There we go. For this, I want to go to the built-in Imagine shapes, and I'm going to scroll all the way down to the end here to the square. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. So we'll just keep going down. There we are. I'm going to hit this little pencil right here in the corner. That is to your button that you're going to use to edit. So I'm going to push that. And now I'm going to choose one of these papers. I'm going to do something that's really going to show the definition. So I'm going to hit this kind of dark red color. Now I'm going to edit my size. You can see here that it's set on 4 inches, and I'm going to bump that up, and I'm just going to push the little plus button to 5 inches. I'm going to hit apply, and it's going to show me right up top here that that's what I have chosen. I'm going to hit next. I'm going to see that that's going to make a 5-inch square in the top left-hand corner of my mat, which is where my paper is embossed. I'm going to push next because I know that's what I want to do. Now this little button will tell you to go. You're going to apply light pressure. If this is your first time using your Imagine, you're just going to push the mat in, press go, and it's going to feed the mat in automatically. It's very important if you haven't used your Imagine yet that you keep the space behind clear so that because the paper will feed through the back of the machine. Once it prints, it will then feed back down through the bottom of the machine to cut. So I know if this is not your first time, this is kind of like, okay, we already know that, but you know, there are some people this might be their first time using it. So it's going to take a couple of seconds and it's going to print. When this is done printing and cutting, I'm going to pull this out of the machine right away. I'm going to take a clean paper towel and I'm going to swirl over the top of that paper to remove ink from the embossed areas. Hopefully this will work the way I hope it will. You want to take into account when you're feeding something like this into your machine that you don't gum it up. So you don't want to use glitter, you don't want to use glue. You want to make sure that your embossed image is completely, let me back this out so that you can see that it is printing. You want to make sure your embossed image is completely dry. You don't want to put, you know, wet embossing or half embossed with the powder still being loose. That would be very bad for your machine. I'm just going to kind of back this up a little bit so you can see that it's doing its thing. Can't rush these things. There we go. It's feeding all the way back, and now it's going to come back through the bottom, and it's going to cut out my square. I like all the little noises it makes. I feel like it's talking to me in robot speak. Okay, I know. I've had a lot of caffeine. Get a little silly this time of night. Okay, I can tell you already that this is looking great. I really hope that this is going to wipe off the way that I hope it does. Okay, so I'm gonna take this paper towel. Oh yes, this is gonna be great. And I'm just gonna rub in circles. See how cool that is? And that's gonna take off that ink, leaving me with this incredible printed texture. Isn't that cool? So now I have this really unique, one-of-a-kind piece of paper that I can use on my card or my scrapbook page. And I see it did kind of stick a little bit here. There we go. Isn't that cool? That is amazing. So I hope you enjoyed this technique. I hope you give it a shot. I think it's going to be so much fun to see all the cool things that you can do with your Imagine and this incredible emboss technique. I thank you so much for joining me, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.